welcome to episode 2 of the News That Glass Broke, and I've got pages of results and notes and Japanese things and all sorts of shite. So much deathmatch stuff, it's seeping out my cunt. Anyway, we will start with this past weekend. So today is, I'll even need to check the date because my brain's that shit. It's Wednesday the 3rd of March, and on the 27th and 28th of February we had a double header by ICW NHB, and then on the Sunday the 28th we had No Peace Underground Horrors of Survival. So I've got all the results and just a wee review for them. Try not to use my phone because I'm like that. The Unabomber guy hates technology, I'm only joking. Anyway, so start off the show. The cage is square now. Hopefully they keep it. A lot of people have been saying how much they love the cage, but I reckon for the Pit Fighter tournament at Mania weekend they'll probably go back to the circle one. I mean, they're both fine, but I just can't prefer it because it's something different. Deppin beat Gary J, referee's decision. It was really good. Good to see Gary J, good to see Deppin. Then probably the match of the night was Ruben Steele. This is probably the second time I'd seen him, who had a fucking phenomenal weekend. Unbeaten all weekend. Beat Sato Jin, and there was a bit where he smacked a gusset plate. I've got one here. I got this signed one through the ICW official merch Facebook page, which you'd all join. I'll find that later on. This is signed by John B. Murdoch and Shane Mercer from their match last month's Volume 9. We had it stuck there, and Ruben Steele smacked in his chest, right above where his nipple was, and he was pissing blood. Pissing fucking blood everywhere. But that was an amazing match, smacking each other with water jugs and carpet strips, and it was really good. Like Sato Jin made Ruben Steele look like $1 million fucking bucks. And basically Demanto came out at the end and said, Steele's coming back, Jin's going to be here. Sato Jin needs to be on every show, he's fucking great. So, I like him so much that I even bought his t-shirt off of Deathmatch Worldwide. The green one, with the little Buddha thing. Or maybe it's meant to be like the caterpillar for Alice in Wonderland, who knows. And also bought the No Peace Underground yellow logo with You're All Disease, or whatever that George Carlin thing was in the back. Anyway, I digress. Then next we had Santi beat Justin Kyle in like 2 minutes 31. It was just them punching the fuck at each other. Really short. This whole show's really short. It was over in a flash. Really quick. That match was good. They're basically signed up for the third one, which I imagine will be... They'll maybe have them in the first round of the Pit Fighter tournament, who knows. Also for that Pit Fighter tournament we have Schlack has now been entered into it as the second entrant, so that's good. Which basically means he won't be at Spring Break, but they're probably not fucking using him at Spring Break anyway. Kirk beat Akira, which I thought was good. Brandon Kirk's probably one of my 5 favourite guys in ICW. Akira looked really good match. Lots of nasty German suplexes and things, but good for Kirk to win. And then the other best match of the night was Akis Kogar beat Nolan Edward. They were slapping each other and punching each other, and it was really good. Quite short match as well. All the matches in this were really short. Kogar and Edward, there's a chemistry, fucking really awesome. 2 young guys that want to fucking go out and kill it, so that was awesome. Reed Bentley beat Schlack, which was good, hard hitting. There was a bit where they were having like a barroom punch and brawl thing in the crowd, and Schlack had a face mask on. It was good. And the main event, John B. Murdoch battered Neil Diamond Cutter and beat Neil Diamond Cutter, who Neil, honestly, he's a fucking saint. He destroyed himself all weekend. Pit Fighter, Volume 10 against Mercer and against Ruben Steele at No Peace Underground. Fucking poor Neil Diamond Cutter, but he does it. He kills himself. He's so good. Get him some fucking wins, please, companies. Anyway, and then Kirk ran out to attack John B. Murdoch because their match was at the next show. Hurt his ankle. My leg. No, Nold's Bar 10. The only thing is that, see, obviously both these shows were on the same day on the 27th. One was at the Gullview Centre, one was at the pawn shop because the owner of the pawn shop died, whose name I can't remember, but I'll put him up. So rest in peace to him, who gave us some great fucking shows for letting ICW use the pawn shop and stuff. The only thing was they're both on the same day, so it's great. You think, yes, I get to avoid a hangover for 2 days in a row, but I didn't because obviously No Peace Underground. No way, I didn't even drink for that. I drank on Friday before it, so I felt like absolute dog shit going into this, but I got fucked anyway for the Nold's Bar doubleheader. Anyway, there's like a 3-hour gap between Pit Fighter X and that, and you end up being like, oh, you're bored, you've got nothing to do, because you're sitting waiting on the show and you end up getting far too drunk. By the main event of NHB 10, I was fucked. Right, so first match of that, we had Edward beat Tony Deppen, which was good. I mean, I prefer Deppen to be a little bit. I prefer both of them to be a little bit higher up in the card, but it was good. I mean, it was good for Edward to win. Justin Kyle beat Gary J, which I thought was probably one of the better matches of the night. I didn't think that would be like a sleeper hit. Just punching and fucking throwing each other. It was like a mini chair riot. There's big slams and just forearms and shit. It was really good. Both those guys are awesome. Ruben Steele beats Akira, which was... Who was... Ruben Steele was filling in for Orton Veit because he's hurt. But Steele beat Akira, which was good. So Akira lost both matches. The Golden Boy supposedly lost both matches. Schlack killed Alex Ocean. Killed Alex Ocean in that match. Like, Alex Ocean got some offense in, but holy fuck. Riley Madison was in it as well, so 10 out of 10 anyway. Just suplexes and fucking a vicious chair shot and just... Honestly, it was so... Like, Alex Ocean gets so little credit for the abuse that he puts himself through. I love Alex Ocean. Him and Madison are a great package as well. And then Schlack threw him off the top of the fucking pawn shop shipping container thing through a massive fucking thing of light tubes and fire, and Alex Ocean looked like he nearly landed on his fucking head and died. But luckily he was fine, so that was disgusting. But this match and then the next match were both pretty much like almost quite very, very sort of squashy, with the underdog guy getting in a couple of moves here and there. And the next match was Mercer just destroying Neil Diamond Cutter, hurling him through glass and just... Like, Neil got a couple of moves in, like Hurricane Ranas and a cutter and like a sort of tornado DDT off the ropes and stuff, but it was mostly Mercer just destroying him, and he beat him with like a... What did he beat him with again? It was like the moonsault fall-away slam thing. That match was awesome. There was just this, mate, you're being a mark. But no, genuinely, there was not a bad match on any of the shows. Even some of the like earlier matches in the shows, like I'd rather Deppen and Edward were against different people. They had chemistry, but rather they were against different people in different matches in the shows. I'd also rather Satu Jin's at No Bar 10, but I understand they've got a finite roster that they have to fill. I'd like there to be a lot more tag matches at ICW, but obviously I don't know about the roster space and fuck knows who. Anyway, then Mercer won that match. Then the next match, Kogar actually fucking beat Reed Bentley, the unbeatable Reed Bentley, in a fucking fantastic match. One of the best matches, probably one of the best matches of the night in Olds Bar 10. It was great. It was just Akis Kogar attacked him at the start, and then they just kicked the fuck at each other with tubes and suplexes, and he gave him a headlock driver through a bit of glass. Reed's done his sort of Tiger Driver 98, and then Akis rolled on top of him and pinned him, and he won. It was fucking awesome. And then Johnny Murdoch beat Brandon Kirk in the main event, which was pretty good as well. Not as good as the other thing, but obviously they don't want to have, the heel win at the end, have to send the fans home happy. And then afterwards, John Wayne Murdoch got the mic, and he called out Alex Colon to basically say, come to the fucking chains. I'm not going to go there for all the money in the world and everything. Is it a work? Is it this? Is it that? Alex Colon put a thing out on Twitter where he was saying like, oh, you're more than welcome to come to Death Planet or Planet Death or whatever it's called. And everybody's like, ooh, it's the big match everybody wants, Colon versus John Wayne Murdoch, and that was cool, and shouting him out. And Alex Colon on Twitter thing was like, leave your boss at home, blah blah blah, you can come to the show and everything. So I imagine that John Wayne Murdoch might come to the show and fit Alex Colon at that, because I assume it's all a work. It'd be beneficial for both companies and both wrestlers, for just everybody to be fine together. And then he also, John Wayne Murdoch said that it would be him against Eric Ryan at the main event, pretty much, of Farewell to the Pawn Shop, which is NHB 12 on the Saturday of the Mania weekend, big thing. And then we move on to the Sunday at the Sound Bar, which No Peace Underground. I love being at the Sound Bar. It's such a nice, cool little venue. Paro beat Tony Deppen. John Oliver was just like running around doing like fucking stuff all night. He was a special referee. The Paro and that, they went outside. He threw a fucking like beer canister thing at a car and like pile drove Deppen on a car and stuff. That match was good. Deppen was hitting Paro with tubes and stuff. Good shit. Always good to see Paro. He should get a bit more places too. Ruben Steele beat Neil Diamond Cutter because Schlack was hurt from the night before. Schlack was still on commentary for a couple of matches with Joey Janela though. so he's not too badly injured. But Ruben Steele, Neil Diamond Cutter fucking killed each other. There were so many like bumps off the stage, like a cutter off the stage through like a guardrail thing, and like Death Valley drivers and everything, and they were fucking sick. And Steele won again. Like Neil Diamond Cutter like dies for his art, and Ruben Steele looked like $1 million fucking bucks again. So Ruben Steele definitely be coming back for both companies. The next match with Nolan Edwards against somebody Wolf. I only wrote down his second name, but they were good. Apparently they're like lifelong friends. I'll put his name up in the thing. And then they were fighting each other. It was really good. There was like a sort of bump off the top through Edwards, like through the door, where I think where Sullivan and Orton Vite fell through the thing. It was like whoa, and then Jordan Oliver like ran in at the end and just kind of pinned them both in one and made it a 3-way. It was silly. But anyway, they both had a fag after the match. That's the cigarette for those in America. We call them fags here in the UK. You're having a smoke, you're having a fag. Anyway, and then we had probably the other best match tonight. AJ Gray beat Shane Mercer, and they would beat the fuck each other with light tubes. And he gave him like the finishing spot was AJ Gray suplexed Shane Mercer through a door, through 2 panes of glass off the stage. Sick fucking shit. Like to see them two wrestle again. They were really, really good. And then there's a very sort of short but very violent tag match between the Rejects. Oh yeah, earlier on before this match, the Rejects attacked AJ Gray. So, and I assume this is to do with Akira has been announced for Death Planet, or Planet Death, I keep mixing it up, Planet Death has been announced. So it's AJ Gray against Akira, obviously Akira, ICW boy, Rejects boy. So that makes it seem like more of a work for the Alex Cole and John Wayne Murdoch thing, so they came and attacked AJ Gray, Rejects thing, blah blah blah. So Akira's on Planet Death. I'll get that name wrong every time, or right once maybe. And then the Rejects beat Lucky and Connor Claxton. There were so many bumps in this, so much light tubes. There was like Reed Bentley hit Lucky 13 with like a double like sword, buster sword thing of light tubes. Sick fucking shit. Good match though. It was quite quick for a tag match, but it's good to see a tag match. I like to see tag matches and stuff like this. That's why the Pit and NHB 10 need tag matches. And then G Raver beat Atticus Cogar in the main event, which was, I thought the main event was alright, wasn't too good. I mean, there was a bump where Cogar pulled the guardrail forward and put a door in it, and then Cogar ended up lying on it, and then G Raver done a like sent-on bomb off it, and like, the guardrail was kind of like pointed in such a way, and like Raver was like that, and Raver flew like that, but in the back of his head nearly fucking hit the side of that guardrail. I was like, oh my god, I thought he was dead. There was another bit where he got Germaned or suplexed onto a ladder that was set up between the stage and the guardrail, and he basically just sort of hit the ladder, slight bit with his arm and landed smack on the fucking floor. Jesus Christ. And then the end of that show, there was like a woman came out with a rose, and then James Mitchell came out, or the Sinister Minister, whatever he's legally allowed to be called these days, came out and basically said that at the collective show for, I wish I could remember it, I'll put up the thing, I can't remember the name of it, it was going to be Sue Young against G Raver in, I assume, a death match. But it was good because I wrote a comment. There was a little promo thing where Jim Mitchell for No Peace Underground, where he talked about time and everybody's going to die and things like that. And I put that he's one of the best promos in the world, or best promos ever or something, which I think he is. He's fantastic at selling your show, and he's really cool. He's like part of No Peace Underground. And he liked the comment, James Mitchell. Like a little mark. I was like, oh my god, James Mitchell. Anyway, but best matches of the weekend, so that's the whole weekend there. Awesome fucking shows, so many death matches, so much blood and violence, so many like, but then best match of the weekend, Ruben Steele against Saturday, Atticus Cogar against Nolan Edward, Kyle versus Gary J, Schlack versus Ocean, Cogar versus Reed Bentley, Steele against Neil Diamond Cutter, and AJ Gray against Shane Mercer, but not a bad match in the whole show. They're just some of my favourites. Anyway, Jesus Christ. We are now moving on to some announcements. So this weekend, which will be March the 6th, which is Saturday, we'll be watching live on Fight TV. GCW is hosting Take Care, and we've finally pretty much got the full card. I'm sure they're probably going to announce a scramble match though, because come on, Brett, we want another scramble match. We can't sleep without them. We've got, so I had a tour of the card which I announced last week. we have got Ali Cat has been announced versus Schlack. Jesus Christ. Joey Janela is going to fight RSP for the GCW World title. And if RSP wins, he gets control of Spring Break, or gets the merchandise rights and the name of Spring Break. Basically, Spring Break will be owned by Ricky Shane Page and 440. So, I mean, I'll be cheering on RSP. But I mean, Janela might win the title, but I think it'd be more likely that Spring Break will happen and then Gage will come back from his injury. And then the biggest match, the match that will be match the night without fucking fail. So I assume Ali Cat and Schlack will be death match. I assume Effie versus Atticus Cogar will be a death match. Obviously they've got the no-rope barbed wire between Jay Raver and Joey Lloyd. But we've got Alex Colon versus Nolan Edward in GCW. Thank you. Two of my fucking favourites in the world. And I assume a fucking death match, because it seems very, very death match heavy, at least with the way the lineup is. You know, Ali Cat, Schlack, Cologne, Edward, you know, all this shit. So that'll be fucking great. Obviously, like I've said at the Death Planet thing, on April 10th for GCW, Akira's going to be against AJ Gray, and there's a three-way, and I will need to check my phone, because I could not fucking remember for the life of me to write it down. Where are we? There we go. So, Ornvite is going to be there, another match. Ornvite is, and there's two guys from the ICW Milwaukee, and it's Ricky Noren, Noren, who has got a sort of artist paintery gimmick. I watched like a thing of him. So he's been death matches. I think he was in Insane 8, which we're going to talk about. And Damon Spriggle are going to be bringing this. Ornvite's bringing these two sort of younger guys from ICW Milwaukee. And it's going to be a three-way dance between them three at Death Planet. So something interesting, something new. And we will go on to ICW Milwaukee's Insane 8, which is going to be on August 29th. So we've got 8 entrants so far, which I think it's going to be the same place where they had last year's, the little outside venue thing, which is a fucking really good show, awesome show by the way. So 8 entrants so far. We've got 8 entrants for the show, so we've got 6 so far. We've got Alex Colon, fuck yeah, Ornvite, which obviously was going to be in it, Schlack, who won last year, Neil Diamond Cutter was the runner-up last year, who was, then we've got that cool fucking, I'm sure that's where they got that picture of Neil from that show. And Akira is going to be in it. And another one is the winner of the Deathmatch Challenge, which is on the 30th of May this year, which features 2 of those guys that I just mentioned, who are going to be fighting Ornvite at Death Planet. So, fuck yeah. So ICW Milwaukee, that could be fucking great. And we've got the other sort of Deathmatch Challenge show. Good times. Also, speaking of new things that are coming up, tournaments, IWA King of the Death Matches 2021. It's been announced by Ian Rotten, almost sort of unofficially or whatever, on Facebook, which is going to be July 30th and July 31st. We've got a 2-day King of the Death matches this year. Fuck yeah. And what else do we have? We've also got, there was a flaming barbed wire match in IWA Deep South at the weekend, where Jeff Hart was beaten by John Rare. The match looked fucking ridiculous, flaming barbed wire. IWA Deep South just now is just a fucking, I don't even know how to, I don't even want to talk about it, describe what it looks like. But there has been an announcement for the Carnage Cup 12 is coming soon, according to their Facebook page. So even another deathmatch fucking tournament. So many deathmatch tournaments. And then we will finally go to some announcements for ICW Nold's Bard leading into the next couple of shows. Over Mania weekend, Schlack's now in the Pit Fighter tournament. John May Murdoch's against Eric Ryan in Nold's Bard, Farewell to the Pawn Shop. And we've also got a guy I've never heard of, but I watched one of his matches last night against Gary J. Very, very good. He's going to be fighting, John Davis is the guy's name, he's going to be fighting Dominic Guarini in Nold's Bard 11 then and now. So things are filling up. Things are filling up for Mania weekend. And what else do we have? Oh, there was even more things I even forgot about, because I'm going to close with some Japanese stuff. We've also got Crimson Crown Wrestling, which was the sort of California company owned by Supreme, I think, and Sage Sin. At least featuring both them very heavily. Obviously Supreme died, was it last year? So rest in peace Supreme, one of the forefathers of deathmatch wrestling from XPW and all sorts of shit. So May the 29th there's going to be a memorial show for Supreme, and then the day after, May the 30th, there is going to be a tournament with a very, very long name, an 8-man deathmatch tournament, the Human Horror Show Games of Supreme Violence, and the first entrant into that is the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne fucking Murdoch. So another fucking tournament, another fucking, it's just, there's so much deathmatch shit's happening through this year, it's insane. It's difficult to keep up with. Also, just to say that Marcus Crane had his surgery, might be even a week ago now, and he's got a massive fucking scar on his fucking head for the surgery that he had, but he's doing alright, and he's out of the hospital, and everything's A-OK, so fucking get well soon, Marcus Crane, because the deathmatch fucking community misses you. So that's good for fucking Marcus Crane. And now we will move on to Japan. Stuff I never got to speak about last time. So the next Freedom show, there was the match between Sakura and Segura, who's the current champion, last month in February, where he got a Sakura got a massive fucking cut on his forehead, and then Yuki came down and attacked him, and Takeda came down and attacked him. But anyway, so the Freedom's next show, which is the 23rd of March, is going to be headlined by Sakura versus Yuki. I'm going to try and remember to get all their names right, because it's difficult to remember how to pronounce everything when it's just written down. It's difficult. I only just hear them say, I only remember main people, you know. People have heard their names so many times, like Takeda or Kasai or Kabashi and things like that, you know. Anyway, so that'll be good, and I assume there'll be Kasai and maybe Sasaki against Takeda and somebody else, maybe? Because it's all a big intertwined thing in Freedoms just now, so that'll be fucking good. And then now, even started today, so the results of the first show, not the entire first show, just of the deathmatch stuff. The Big Japan Round Robin Deathmatch Tournament, which is Deathmatch Survivor, which is every 2 years. They have all the best deathmatch talents. Obviously, they can't fly anybody in because of COVID, blah 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 blah. Compete in a sort of round robin tournament, and every win gets 2 points. Every draw, I think, gets a point, and every loss gets 0 points, something like that. So we've got Group A. So there's 4 different groups. There is 16 people in total. Group A is Violento Jack, Abdullah Kobayashi, Takahashi and Jackie Numazawa, which is a very fucking strong group. Group B, we've got Drew Parker, Sakamoto, who's the champion. I don't always pronounce his name wrong. He's the guy that said, no more light tubes or something like that. Something like that. He doesn't want to do light tubes. He's the champion of a deathmatch company. Bizarre. Anyway, but Drew Parker said it, as long as he's in deathmatch wrestling, there'll be light tubes. And I assume the same with a lot of the other guys. Miyamoto and Katsumata, who I have not seen wrestle a lot. I've seen him in a few matches. He looks very, very much like Sakura. You know, the little psychopath who puts needles through people's faces. Group C is Ito, Takeda, Vegeta, and Hoshio, which is like, that's like fucking... That and Group A are dangerous fucking ones. And then Group D is Kodaka and, just from my handwriting, Kimatani, Hayado, and Ishikawa? Who knows? Anyway, so the other 3 names apart from Kodaka, who's obviously, you know, won last year's. I don't know if they're doing this because they're giving him an easier group, because a lot of these 3 guys I've not really heard of, so I assume they're younger, up-and-coming talent, to give him an easier group, because he won 2 years ago, because it's every 2 years. So, who do I think will win? I would like to see a final between Drew Parker and Takeda. I would also like to see Violento Jack and Takeda. And if I had Takeda against one of those 2 in the finals. But anyway, but it's from today, so the first 2 matches were today. It's from the 3rd of March to the 26th of April, so it's a big, long thing. The last final was Kodaka against Takeda, which was a really good fucking death match. So the first show we had Sakamoto, the champion, beat Katsumata. So that was from Group B, and he was from Group A. No, they're both from Group B. My mistake. And then from Group A, we had Takahashi beat Abdullah Kobayashi. So I mean, I really want to watch that second match. That'll be fucking really good. Takahashi's mental. Like, he's really awesome. And obviously it's Abdullah Kobayashi. And the second show, which is going to be the 8th, that show was actually at the Shin Kaba first ring, basically the place that GCW held their Japanese shows. And the second show is at Corrigan Hall, the famous Japanese deathmatch venue, which is on the 8th of March. And we have got Tasakimoto again, the champion, I'm just going to call him, because I always fuck his name up, versus Miyamoto. Hopefully Miyamoto wins. Just out of spite, because he said the thing about the light tubes. And Violento Jack is against Abdullah Kobayashi. So that's Japanese deathmatch stuff all fucking month. And closer to the time, I'll probably do at least a review of the Freedom show once I know what more of the card is and everything. A lot of the time it's difficult to find a lot of stuff. Steve and I on Facebook's very, very good for getting all the Japanese information, because I think he lives in Japan. The guy who owns the Shopping with Ninja site, check that out. But yeah, but I want to do more Japanese stuff in this. It's just I'm not an expert. I know a lot about it. It's just getting the names and getting all the information in front of me, written down on a shitty bit of paper that's ripped. And what was I going to go into? Now, I ordered finally some stuff from ICW Notes Bar. They've got their own official merchandise club. So on Facebook, it's ICW NHB Official Merchandise Club. So I think it's a private group. You need to obviously apply to be part of it. I mean, I'm part of it. So very, very good. They've got lots of ICW merchandise, deathmatch merchandise, Japanese stuff like Kasai, fucking Takeda signed boards, Trent Acid and Zandig signed boards from their time in Japan, things from like Misawa and like New Japan and fucking Freedoms, and just Japanese merch coming out the cunt. And you also get the first sort of look at their Facebook's live sales where they sell all this stuff. And this is just some of the things that I got delivered in the post. So I've got this little rally towel, which is Eric Ryan's signature on it from the Bloodshed, which is good. Can't wait for him to come back to ICW. I got this Alex Colon signed 8x10, and I don't think he'll ever be signing another one for ICW. It could all be a work though, couldn't it? Nice to see him back. I got this gusset that I showed before, very, very sharp, fuck me, sticking these in their foreheads, which is signed by Shane Mercer and John Wayne Murdoch. I got these two posters. I'm waiting on some other posters arriving. I got this Iron Man Deathmatch poster, which is signed by John Wayne Murdoch and Oren Veit from their 1 hour Iron Man Deathmatch, which is classic. And I've also got this one, which is signed by G Raver and Eddie Only. And I want fucking Eddie Only to come back. He said, somebody wrote on a Facebook thing that he might not be back, or you were going to see him a lot less of him in 2021. He is fantastic. He's one of the best heels in independent wrestling and wrestling in general, so I fucking love Eddie Only, so I hope he comes back. And I also got this, which is a 1 of 1 card. It's a metal, so we've got these little cards here, trading cards from ICW. But I managed to bid and won this limited edition 1 of 1 Atticus Kogar, who's probably my favourite wrestler at the minute, steel card. Don't know if you're able to see that well on the camera. 1 of 1 shiny metal card. But this Thursday, so tomorrow, which will be the 4th of March, there is going to be another Facebook live sale with lots more swanky, sexy metal cards. And then we've got 6, I think, 1 of 1 cards. There's Takeda, that is going to sell like a motherfucker. Like the one I got was $125, I think, but there was a John Wayne Murdoch, a Schlack, and what other one? A Larry Legend. I think John Wayne Murdoch or Schlack went for about $300, but this Takeda, which is probably going to go, I could see it going for like $500. There's a Nick Gage 1 of 1 metal card, which I could see for going for close to the same. There's a Homicide, there's an Akira, there's a Reed Bentley, and there is a Riley Madison. So I'm going to try and bid for another one. I'm not too sure which one I'm going to try and get into Takeda, but I don't think that'll happen. Don't know if my girlfriend will let me spend that much money on a fucking Takeda card, but here we are. Anyway, that is episode 2 of the news that Glass broke. I will be back with my review of Take Care, GCW's Take Care, which will be in Fight TV this Saturday, March 6th. And thanks, subscribe and like, and next time will be more death matches. So much death matches, it'll be seeping out our cunts.